Sam Bankman, have you ever heard that name? Probably not, and that's exactly why we need to talk about him. This is the story of one of the greatest baseball players you've never known, a guy whose incredible career has been pretty much lost to history. So let's dig in and find out why. I want to start with just one number, 25. Just let that sink in for a second. In a baseball career, what do you think that could be? Hits in a season? A handful of home runs? Well, what it actually is way more impressive than that. That's right. Over his 20-plus year career, Sam Bankman played on 25 championship teams. 25. From the Negro Leagues to Latin America and all the way up to Canada, wherever this man went, his teams won. He was basically a walking dynasty. Which brings us to the big question, right? If a player was this dominant, this successful, how come he's been so completely forgotten? To get to the bottom of that, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, first up, the ultimate utility man. From coal mines to Cooperstown caliber. Let's really break down what made him such a legend on the field. His journey started about as far away from a pristine ballpark as you can get, in the coal mining towns of Alabama. As a young man, Bankhead actually worked in the coal mines and just played pickup baseball when he had the time. He didn't have any formal training, just this raw, undeniable talent that was really forged in the grit of a mining town. And you better believe that toughness translated directly onto the diamond. And the thing is, he could do it all. This wasn't a player who was just good at one thing. No, he excelled at everything. He was a hustling, clutch-hitting machine with blazing speed on the bases and, oh yeah, an absolute cannon for an arm. He was the definition of a five-tool player long before that term was even really a thing. His versatility was just insane. I mean, he didn't just fill in at different positions, he started them. Get this, in his 7 appearances at the East-West All-Star Game, he started at 5 different positions. Shortstop, second base, and all 3 outfield spots. Can you imagine? What a manager's dream. And don't just take my word for it. Listen to how his teammate Maurice Petros described his throwing arm. He said he just poured the ball over to first base, no wrinkle on his throws, just like a bullet. It wasn't just strong, it was a laser beam every single time. And he wasn't just some great player on an average team. No way. He was a star among superstars. Just look at this team, the 1935 Pittsburgh Crawfords. It had 5 future Hall of Famers, including Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige. And Bankhead? He fit right in, batting a ridiculous .354 that season. But his story doesn't just stay in the United States. To really understand his impact, we have to follow him abroad. Bankhead became a true international star, taking his talents all over the world. And this is where the story gets cinematic, seriously. In 1937, Bankhead, Satchel Paige, and other stars were recruited. Some say they were lured with a briefcase full of cash to play in the Dominican Republic for a team owned by the dictator, Rafael Trujillo. The pressure was immense. Players said they felt like their lives actually depended on winning. And in the championship game, down by a run with 2 outs, who comes to the plate? Sam Bankhead. And what does he do? He crushes a game-winning home run. You can't make this stuff up. And his success just kept rolling south of the border. In his 1941 season in the Mexican League, he put up some absolutely superstar numbers, a .351 batting average, slugging over .500. He proved his talent was truly world-class, no matter where he played. He also dominated the winter leagues in Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Venezuela. He was a year-round ball player, constantly competing at the highest levels and, as usual, winning championships wherever he went, just like he did here with a 41-42 Puerto Rican champion Ponce Leones. But Bankhead was more than just a phenomenal player. He was a leader, a mentor, and ultimately a real pioneer. He and the legendary slugger Josh Gibson were really close friends. And after Gibson's tragic death, Bankhead really stepped up. He took Gibson's son under his wing, signed him to the Homestead Grays, and mentored him in both baseball and in life. It really shows you the kind of man he was. But his leadership went beyond mentorship. In 1951, a small newspaper clipping like this one announced a groundbreaking moment in baseball history, a moment that, for some reason, is hardly ever mentioned. So get this. 4 years after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier as a player, Sam Bankhead broke another one. As the player-manager for the Farnham Pirates in Canada, he made history. This was a huge deal, an enormous step forward, and yet
It's a milestone that has been almost entirely forgotten.
But for all the glory on the field, Bankhead's final years were marked by struggle, by bitterness, and by a truly tragic end. You see, as the Negro Leagues began to fold in the wake of integration, so did the careers of many of its stars. For players like Bankhead, who were considered too old by the major leagues, there was just nowhere to go. The end of his team, the legendary Homestead Grays, really signaled the end of his era. So after decades as a celebrated international baseball star, Bankhead's life became one of manual labor. He worked as a sanitation worker and a hotel porter in Pittsburgh. He grew bitter, and honestly, can you blame him? He felt forgotten by the game he had given his whole life to. His story ends in violence. In 1976, following an argument at the hotel where he worked, Sam Bankhead was shot and killed. It was just a senseless, tragic end for a man who had once been a hero to thousands. And that leaves us with this final, lingering question. A lot of people believe that Bankhead's life, the incredible athletic talent, the post-career struggles as a sanitation worker in Pittsburgh, the bitterness, the tragic end, all of it served as the direct model for Troy Maxson, the main character in August Wilson's iconic play, Fences. Was this forgotten hero's story secretly immortalized on stage? It's a compelling thought, and it means that even in obscurity, the echoes of Sam Bankhead's powerful life can still be heard.